Good evening again. This is an exciting biology class. Today we shall be discussing about the reproduction. So, what is reproduction? The type of reproduction, the plants that usually goes about the reproduction, and the rest we shall be discussing concerning this reproduction. So first, what is reproduction? It simply means that what? Simply means what? Ability of plants and animal to produce young ones, right? That is just the simplest definition of reproduction. The ability of what? Plants and animal to produce what their young ones. What do we mean by the young ones? The new offspring. New offspring. Because every plant and animal go into extinction, but for them to prevent them from going to an extinction, they need to reproduce. That's the reason why reproduction is one of the vital characteristics of a living things. Because what? For any plant or animal not to go into extinction, they need to be continually reproducing of their same species. But plants and animal has ways of doing their reproduction. They have what? The ways of producing young ones. Yes, they have ways of producing young ones. From what? From sexual to asexual. Yes, from sexual to asexual. Because there are some plants that use what? Sexual reproduction, and there are some plants that use what? Asexual reproduction. Also, there are some animal that what? They are basically the most of the animals, let me say majority of the animals use sexual reproduction, even though there are some animals they have their hermaphrodite in nature. Even despite that they are being hermaphrodite in nature, they still use what the sexual reproduction. Fine. Now, what is not sexual and asexual? Let's start with asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction. Once you mean that asexual, anything that starts with A in biology, usually that means that it's against the normal process. The normal process for that every individual understand that when it comes to reproduction is that what? There is formation of gametes. Formation of gametes. What do I mean by gamete? That is the coming of what? The eggs from female and the sperm from male organs, right? That is the basic standard. Once you hear about reproduction, it is generally believed that there is formation of gametes, that is the coming of what? Egg and the sperm. But I said when you see A, it's go against the normal standard. Yes, that's this why we have asexual. Good. Now, once we say asexual reproduction, that means that what? There is no formation of gametes, but the young ones are still being produced. You can see the work of Almighty God. The work of Almighty God is that what? There is no formation of gametes, that we all believe that there must be the coming of male sperm and the coming of egg from the female organs. But here, young ones are being produced. Young ones are produced by single parents. In asexual reproduction, yes, young ones are produced by single parents. There is no formation of gamete at all. There is no that a male will stand, there is female that will stand, and there is combination of female and male bringing together of two parent gametes, which we have discussed in the mitosis and meiosis. But here in asexual, it is only only one single parent is involved. Now, but in these single parents, we have different way they are what they are using. Okay, because there is no what fusion of what gamete. But let's assume that what in this what in this asexual, how does it possible for them? And that's the reason why we usually have something called vegetative propagation. Yes, the way they produce their young ones without coming of the egg from a female and the sperm from a male is called what? Vegetative propagation. What do I mean by vegetative propagation? Vegetative propagation is just that it is vegetative parts. What do I mean by the vegetative part? The plant itself now what tried either by what? By artificial means or natural. Either by artificial means or natural means, the plant will produce another young ones from the same parent plant. Let me say it like this. Assuming this is a plant, right? This is a plant. The vegetative part now comes to produce either by any series of is either naturally or artificially. What do I mean by naturally? Naturally means that it is the plant itself without anybody touching it. It is the plant itself that produces another young ones itself. But what do I mean by artificial is that it is human being that goes into that plant. Probably they see that the plant is going to an extinction and they didn't want that plant to go into an extinction, so they use a means to find a way that the plant is being produced another one for a continuation of that species. In short, I will discuss later basically on this the natural aspect and the artificial aspect. Now let's say that the natural vegetative and artificial vegetative. Good. I say natural vegetative that what? Plants was the one that did what? Plants grew another young ones itself, yes, itself, without nobody is touching it. It is just that plant is the one that grows another young ones itself. But this artificial vegetative, this what? By man-made. Yes, it is done by what? By the aspect of a male. Now we have different type of artificial propagation. 1, we have cutting. 2, we have grafting. 3, we have layering. 4, we have macroting, and the last one, 5, we have budding. These are the major types of artificial propagation that we usually have. They are the major type of artificial propagation that we usually have. But what is cutting? What is grafting? What is layering? What is macroting? And what is budding? The way they sand has already given us their clue to which the artificial propagation is taking place. Let's take from the last one, budding, because this is budding. Let's take for the last one. What is budding? In a plant, This is a plant. Right. We have roots, we have shoot, we have leaf, we have bud, and we have at times it depends on at times the fruit is there. Fruits, you know, there are some plants that their fruit is being up. There are some plants that their fruit is being plucked around this place. Yes, it depends on different plants. But one thing we should know that what there are three aspects: the root aspect, the stem aspect, and the what and the shoot aspect. Right? Good. Now this is bud. Let's assume we have this what we have this. Abi, let's assume we have this. Good. Because you know that a bud is one that develops into either seed or fruit. It also depends on plants. Either seed or fruit. That's in where we have what polycarpus and others, because there are some seeds that will develop into, there are some bud that will develop into fruit directly, and some bud will develop into seed, and that seed will be developed into fruit. It is of different plants. Now, but that is not where we are going. The point is that in every plant they have their bud, because their bud at times brings leaves. Yes. So just like, let's example of what you call it, let me take this, which one that is developed into what, into leaves. This bud in body is the one that will be cutting out. It will be cut out in a T shape, inverted T shape, like this, inverted T shape. How? Because this is what right angle triangle, right? But once we want to use budding processing, we are cutting out what the plants at angle 45 degrees centigrade, right? And that's the why we have what, something like inverted T like this, something like inverted T like this. You know, it is very similar to this. That means that what, once we cut the bud aspect of this, now the plants that we want to do the artificial reproduction, we also cut what, that plant in inverted T like this, and we join the bud of this into that place and tied it up with what, any plastic materials, and that is simply what is called budding. The process by which what the bud and stalk, the process by which the bud and the stalk are being attached to call bud stalk. Yes, bud stalk. How? By cutting the bud aspect of a plant, of a matured plant, and the stalk. You know, a bud that is being cut from a mature plant. A mature plant has one thing, secondary growth. What is that secondary growth? That secondary growth contains something called cambium. Right? So that bud in this cambium and stalk. A stalk is called a young plant. Of about age one. Yes. You know that bud is being cut from a mature plant, that is 5 years plant, 6 years plant, and this bud is being cut at angle 45. That bud has cambium, the growth, the secondary growth in a plant that makes it to be a secondary growth. Now we attached to a stalk. A stalk is a plant that is, the head is being cut, the shoot is being cut, but it's still tied in the root is still in the soil, right? So you now attach that bud against the stalk to become the bud stalk. and once that, you now what, wrap it by plastic materials. For them to know that it germinates, that bud after a few days will turn to probably green. Most of the time it is green, and that means that what, the body that is taking place at that point has become has been what, survived, has been survived. So in short, that is body, the process by which we call to what, the bud aspect and the stalk aspect, attach it together to become bud stalk. Why do we attach it together? It is important that what, once we want to attach it, that's the one of the most important criteria, that what, that cambium must not dry. The cambium in the secondary root must not dry. Once it is dry, the such plant is what, is already dead. So that is for body.